So, Swami, the first question we have is from Gaurang, who's from New Jersey. Swami, Gaurang confesses that he has a tendency to overthink everything. His question is, how do we control our minds so we stop overthinking and overanalyzing and instead learn to focus the way Arjun did on the battlefield?
Well, Gaurang, your question is very appropriate because whether it's overthinking, overanalyzing, anything that's over does more harm than help. To explain very clearly, we must understand that in life we have to strike a balance. What do I mean? Eating is good. It gives you nourishment, it builds your body, gives you energy. But overeating creates issues. It's dangerous and results in diseases which you cannot really control. Similarly, drinking water, it's essential, it gives you life. But there's also conditions where people hyperhydrate themselves. There's so much water in their bloodstream that they create so many issues which cannot even be controlled by normal medicines. You look at even exercise. Almost every doctor, health fitness coaches, and everybody will advise you and me that exercise is important, and we know exercise is important. But there are exercise freaks who do too much exercise. Over-exercising results in tearing of muscles, straining of joints. It creates back pains and sometimes issues which are terminal. So anything that's over creates more harm than help. Even a simple thing like sleeping. Of course, most of the people in this world, they complain about lack of sleep or not regular sleep. So fine, sleep is important, but there are issues when you oversleep. Ask yourself, when you remain in bed more than 10 hours or 15 hours or 16 hours, then you get body pains, aches, you remain dazed, you feel lazy, and you are completely disoriented from whatever you want to do. So in life, just as medicines, they are good, but to take the right medicine at the right time, the right amount, and for the right reason creates the impact. So if you do anything which is over, it results in more harm than help. So it goes for thinking. God has given us all a gift of thinking, the ability to think and analyze. But when in our zeal to analyze, you overanalyze, in our zeal to think, you overthink, then it results in issues which you cannot really control. So when it comes down to controlling your mind, of course you need to control overthinking or overanalyzing. Think for the right amount, for the right reason, and then start acting. In Sanskrit, there's a saying, Ati Sarvatra Varjayet, which means excess in anything and everything should be avoided. What does it mean? That even things that are beneficial, but if you overdo it, even like something that you love water and you remain in water for a long time, it will create issues with your skin. Even maybe laughter, even joking with somebody, even trying to actually fast, anything that you do in excess will always create a detrimental effect. So of course, Gaurang, I believe that you should try and avoid overthinking and overanalyzing and do what you just have to do.
Thank you for that, Swamiji. Swamiji, just for my benefit, may I request you to further elaborate on that, please? Thank you.
Well, throwing extra light would be giving you a couple of examples which will really elucidate what I mean. When somebody overthinks, he leaves the common platform where he is. He loses touch with reality. To give you a more appropriate example, by overthinking, even in a positive way, you create a fool's paradise. And by overthinking or overanalyzing in a negative way, you create a fool's hell. And even if you are not positive or negative, just the sheer effort of analyzing would create a fool's paralysis. So let me give you 3 examples which will completely set apart what overthinking or overanalyzing can do. And obviously, in the case of Arjuna, you'll be able to identify what really happened to him and what really happens to us in our situation. Brahmaswarup Yogiji Maharaj used to give a wonderful example about fool's paradise by wishful overthinking. There was a simple beggar-like man, and somebody gifted him a pot, a clay pot. He had never owned a clay pot, so he decided that keeping the clay pot empty, instead of that, fill it up with milk and go and sell that milk in the bazaar. So while he takes this clay pot, puts it on his head and fills it up with milk, on his way to the bazaar, he starts thinking, overthinking, wishful thinking, daydreaming, as you would say. So he says that, starts thinking that, okay, I've got this pot, this milk will fetch me some money. So from that money, I'll be able to buy more pots. And with more pots, I'll be able to give more milk. The more milk I distribute, I'll have other people working for me. And when they distribute, I'll get more wealth. Then I'll buy a cow. And with that, I'll be able to really increase the business. And then we'll have more cows. I'll have a cattle farm. And for that farm, I'll be able to buy my own land. And on that land, I'll have farm hands working for me. And then, with enough money, I'll make a nice house for myself. The house will be first storied, then second storied, third. On the third story, I'll be there, swinging on a golden swing. And once I'm so popular, so wealthy, people from far away will come to hand the hand of their daughter into my hand. And when they come, proudly I'll sit on that swing and say, nope, nope, nope. And in that way, he forgot and lost touch with reality that he was actually walking on a simple, dusty road. And as his daydream, he swung his head, the pot fell, it broke, and the milk spilled. A passerby tried to console him and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry that your pot broke." He said, "It's not my pot that's broken. My whole life that's broken. All my dreams have been shattered. In that pot lay my wishful dream." Had he not overthought, had he remained in reality, then maybe some of these things may have come true. But overthinking creates a fool's paradise that is often shattered. But suppose somebody is negative. Overthinking can create hell that you won't be able to do anything because of fear. All of us should understand that we have just passed through the fear of corona. I know reality was one thing and caution was very important, but sometimes through messages, WhatsApp messages and stories which were twisted, sometimes over-information and wrong information and misinformation created so much panic and so much negative overthinking that it created a fool's hell for each one of us in one way or another. I think a beautiful example, which is a real example, which will really give you clarity, was one day, one boy came to me and he said, "Swamiji, I would like to go to a foreign country for studies. Should I or should I not? I said, of course you should go. If you have the capabilities, you should go. I encouraged him. He said, but should I go by flight or should I go by other means? I said, there's the only single means available to go to a foreign country at this moment. And it's the safest, go by flight. He said, what if it gets hijacked? I said, no, it doesn't happen often. Just go, so many people are traveling. He said, what if I land and the immigration authorities deport me back straight away, because many people get deported? I said, but if you've taken the visas and the process has been done properly, why should they deport you? You've done nothing wrong. Go ahead. I was encouraging him every moment. And he said, but what if I even go there and I don't like the university that I've applied to? I said, for the first few months, you may not like it, but you'll get used to it. As you perform, as you study, fine, you'll get through. He said, but what if I don't get through and I fail? I said, if you fail, then you have to try again. That's life. You can't be disheartened. You have to move on. He said, but even if I pass, and what if I don't get the appropriate job? I said, there are hundreds and thousands of people who find a job, maybe not appropriate, but you find a job and make yourself useful. But what if that country does not allow me permanent residency? I said, come on, at least you'll have learned something. You'll have earned something. So don't worry about it. Go, try your best, and make your life into a better life. He said, but what if I don't get the right girl of my choice? I said, well, there I really can't help you. It depends upon, God's grace and what you can really find and what you can really connect with and who you really find appropriate. He said, but Swami, I'm asking all this, because I feel, it may not just be right. He was just negative in everything. I said, but then why are you asking when you are not so comfortable? He said, I'm really asking all this, that if all this is fine, only then I'll try and get a passport. I said, God, you don't even have a passport. And you are overthinking in such a way, you've not just created hell for your life, your own self. You are perhaps creating hell for everybody around you. Overthinking in a negative way will create a fool's hell in any issue. Whether a small flutter of your heart, you overthink and think it's a heart attack. Whether it's some gas problem and you think you have, ulcers. I believe that just as overthinking positively will create fool's paradise, overthinking negatively creates a fool's hell. But overthinking just for the sake of thinking, some people have an habit of just analyzing everything. It creates a fool's paralysis. Imagine a man who is wise, full of logic, intellectualizes everything. He's standing in a field and he contemplates that if it takes me 1 hour to cross this field, how long will it take me to cross half the field? Half an hour. Quarter of the field, 15 minutes. Half that, even half that. Maybe in 5 minutes, in 2.5 minutes. Maybe half of that would be half a minute. Maybe half of that would be even 30 seconds, then 0.1 microseconds and 0 seconds. He can go on infinitely thinking because you can continue to divide something into half for infinitely. 0.001, 0.00001, 0.00001. That man could stand at the edge of the field just analyzing till infinite time without taking a step. In that time, a small child who does not know mathematics, does not even know how to think, does not even know how to measure distance, would have run twice or thrice across the field without giving much of a thought. So overthinking will create paralysis. That's why Guru Hari Mahan Swami Maharaj often says that what you really want to do, and if it's good, just do it. Why? Because a scientist could sit down and analyze all the benefits of whole milk for hours and days. But if he doesn't drink that milk for himself, he doesn't get nourished. While a cowherd who would have no knowledge of milk, all the vitamins, all the proteins, all the calcium, and everything inside that milk, he has no clue. But he daily drinks ultra fresh milk. He nourishes himself, he gets healthier. So, in life, rather than overthinking about anything, if you get a chance to do good, if you get a chance to make your lifestyle a little better, just do it. As experience goes, you will learn more and more.